schools were not created to make you rich. They were created to discipline and train you to function the way those that need you want you to function.
This is really very, very eye-opening. But I go like ask, they go tell everybody, say, go school, education, and all. People go, if we go by the system in Nigeria here, 6 years primary school, 6 years secondary school,
study this,
4
study
years
economics,
university,
study banking and finance.
and the whole idea is once you acquire this education,
You work for
you will
somebody.
break free from the shackles of poverty.
You're good to go.
No.
And you are good to go. But it can't be like say the school waiting that they teach us, not be waiting.
Okay, so let's understand this. Because the challenge we have is that we don't realize that change is the only constant in life. What is true today may be a lie tomorrow. But it doesn't mean it was not true yesterday.
What is true today may be a lie tomorrow.
But it doesn't mean it was
mean
not true yesterday. It's because life is lived forward but understood backward. And as we evolve, we learn. Everybody here, there's one statement you have made in your life. If I knew what I know now. Everybody on earth, if you have never made that statement, you are a madman. That means you are not growing. That is a sign of growth. If you say, I know this thing, I will not have done that, I will not have done that, that means you are growing. So when you have a single lady as a daughter, what will you tell the girl? Don't sleep with any man. Don't let a man touch you. It's true. You are not lying to her, because at that season of her life, that was what she needed to hear. But when she gets married, don't deprive your husband of sex. Make sure mommy, are you not the one that told me? No. Now I'm telling you something else. So what I told you before was true. But if I tell you not to allow your husband to touch you now, it's a lie. I'm ruining your life. I'm ruining your marriage. That's the way life is. So when they were telling us, don't forget, you see, people need to just get the School of Money book, get all this book. You see, I explain all these things. The civilization we call civilization today started with what we call the hunter-gatherer state, the caveman era. At that point in time, no school, no nothing. The only thing that people had was energy and skill. They were hunting, running after squirrel, running after antelope, running after all these things. That's all they had, and that's all they needed. If you gave that person $1 billion at that point, they would use and do toilet roll. Because it was useless to them. There was no shopping mall, no shoe, nothing. They didn't even know that anything was wrong. But when they evolved to the realm of agrarian age, that was when land became important. People now started claiming land. Real estate is royal estate. This is the land you need to come to certificate of occupancy, right of occupancy. That it was at that point that we started trade by barter. It was at that point that they started multiple wives, multiple children. It was at that time that slave trade came. All this is where all economic theory to survive. That is it. Then they evolved from that point to industrial revolution. It was during the industrial age that education came. So during the industrial age, education was set up to take people from the farming slave to factory slave. So they now say, okay, all the intelligent ones that are here now, let's gather them, because this guy be like, say, get some brain. If you tell them something, if they know how to plant, if they answer, put them together and create a curriculum and teach them so that they will know how to handle the factory. Because from orange, we need to produce orange juice. And we need to cancel. They now created courses. Okay, this is accounting, this is chemistry. Question, the first person that became an accountant, who certified him? So somebody sat down and said, come, let's create it. I do curriculum, that's why I know what I'm talking about. I've created curriculum that does not exist before, that I created, and it's now existing because I created it. So somebody said, okay, let's do one, we call it accounting. But that person that was creating the curriculum, he himself is not certified. Because nobody certified. He's now the pioneer and the progenitor of a new. That's how all these courses were created. And it was not, schools were not created to make you rich. They were created to discipline and train you to function the way those that need you want you to function. So if you meet with elderly people in their 70s or in their 80s and they are to ask you, they won't ask you what course do you study. They will say, what is your discipline? That's what they won't say, what course do you study? So they say, what is your discipline? That means, what have you been disciplined to become? That's why all your life you have an identity. You go to school, when you come out, they say, what's this? I say, I'm doctor, I'm engineer. You forget your name. You now start introducing yourself with the title they give you. Because you went to school to be trained to become what they want you to become. So there was nothing wrong in education in the days of our parents. But what they did not realize was that the colonial masters were using this for a purpose. That is why we still have the problem till today. So when you go to school, they teach you to become this, and then you become it. But the world has evolved. We have moved from industrial age now. We are now in the age of technology. We are in what we call the fourth industrial revolution. The fifth one is emerging now. So all those things now, don't forget that when we were growing up, if you say you want to be an actor, you say, hear me. You want to be a footballer, hey, village people. Today now everybody wants to be a footballer. But all those things have now expired. Now everybody wants to move to the next level, IT,
tech,
and all the tech. So
tech
that's so now, when you go to school, you learn, you come to use. But in order for them to keep you for 5 years or 4 years, they have to teach you what you need and what you don't need. And most of the textbooks were given by the Westerners to deceive you. That's why they will say Mungo Park came to discover you. Are you all right?
Mungo Park,
so you exist, then somebody can't discover you. If you didn't exist, will you be discovered? They say you are discovered. It's because of all these problems. So now, over 80% of what you learn in school today is useless when you graduate.
Over 80%.
Yes.
It's useless.
The YDX.
Over 80% is useless. Now, number two, the world that existed when you do, is it the matric they will do first? Convocation.
Matric first, convocation last.
The world that existed when you did matric, by the time you are doing convocation with the next gown, that world is no more in existence. Because every 5 years there's a new world. 2019 and now are two different worlds. Pre-COVID, post-COVID. Before, in 2019, nobody will ask you, is it virtual? It was not in our vocabulary. That's a new world. Before 2019, nobody will say, I want to work remotely. So if you are still now oppressing, no, you cannot do this. It's because you are still an analog mind in a digital age. You don't realize that things have changed. So companies are now rewriting policies, rewriting HR policy. Why? Because it's a new world. So people that are now telling you go to school, go and study this, go and study that, they are not bad people, but they are expired people. They are sincere, but they are sincerely wrong. They are telling you to go and do something that is useless. They are telling you to go and prepare to solve problem of yesterday instead of preparing you to solve tomorrow's problem. So today, if like 15 years ago, if you say you are a drone pilot, it doesn't exist.
Yes.
I'm into animation. I'm into gaming. It doesn't exist. So if you now go to your mother now, your father, mother, maybe like chief with dress like you say, daddy, and study animation. So what? Are you an
animal? Are you an animal?
That's the way it is. True. Many of the comedians, footballers, actors, and actresses today, their parents disowned them when they went to Nollywood. Disowned them when they went to music. Today, everybody wants their children. So that's the same way parents are disowning their children now. For saying you are just jobless, you don't want to go to school. What is animation? What is this? Because they don't realize. So in our own days, people were sent to school to go and study a course that will put a prefix before their name.
Yes.
Engineer, doctor,
barrister,
architect, barrister,
lawyer.
Because most of the parents wanted to live through the life of their children. So what they could not achieve, they want to achieve through the life of their children.
Mama doctor.
But now those things they are useless now. So am I saying don't go to school? No, we need to redefine education. As a matter of fact, you can go to my YouTube channel at Dr. Olumide Emmanuel on YouTube. I just did a series this last October. So most of those series you people see is October I do, because the whole of October in our church I focus on finance. So it was October 2022 that I did before you joined the Jackpot bandwagon. I did a whole series on that just to help, because nobody said don't jackpot, but face reality before you go. Then I've done savings culture. Now I've now done redefining education, part 1 to 4, just to help you understand. Look, all this one one of my guys. Because many parents now, the majority of what they spend their money on is house rent, feeding, and school fees.
Yes.
To go and spend money. Many of us keep our life on hold to train children for 15, 17 years. To go and study a course that will be useless to them and useless to us, because we are still living in those days. So many of these courses, they are no more relevant. So go to school to study a course that will solve today and tomorrow's problem. Not yesterday's problem. Because with the advent of AI, fourth industrial revolution, animatics, robotics, 3D printing, forget it all. All these courses you are studying is useless. So if you say you are doing medical doctor, medicine is expiring. Right now, medicine has expired up to 70%. We are 30% of medicine, because there is nothing you want to do in medicine that AI cannot do, that machine cannot do, that robots cannot do. So if you are going to study medicine now, you are wasting your life away. And people are still starting now. They are entering school year 1 to go and do 7 years, and they will spend 50,000, 100,000. They will spend money, dollar, borrow money, student loan for the next 15 years. Now, why am I saying don't do that? Because the need are limited. So if we used to need 2 billion doctors, now we need 500,000. Just using that as a status. So the need is now reduced. And if all of you are rushing there, you will have nothing to do. So go and do my research. Fact check this. Majority of people now have master's degree that they are not using.
Yes.
Why? Because by the time they finish school, no job. Oh yeah, Kuku will master, Side master, they'll do master. By the time they now want to get the job, they will now use the BSc to go and get a job because they can't get a job. So there are a lot of people with masters now working with the lower degree. So what is all that? You are a master over nothing. Why? Because schools don't teach you financial intelligence. So everybody's going to school. When you now finish the school, you now want to look for a job. Who should now create the job?
That
So
you are
any
looking
education
for.
that is not teaching you how to become a job creator is a useless education. Any education that is not equipping you to begin to earn and add value to the environment is a expired education. So we're not saying don't go to school, get us right. But we're saying if you are going to go to school, the way the creator intended it is everybody is born with gift, talent, and potential. Everything that the spider needs to spin a web is inside the spider. Your gold is tied to your gift. Your treasure is tied to your talent. Your profit is tied to your potential. So the way you're supposed to do is discover what you have. Then you now go and train to develop what you have. Then you deploy it. So if you know people have studied medicine that are now fashion designer. People have studied architecture that are now cooks. So if you know you are a cook, once you have discovered that it's cooking, go to cooking school straight. Spend 1 year and start selling.
Some that have even studied a particular course have also been able to use modern means now to reach out to people and teach. For example, our Proco doctor is a very good example.
Yeah.
You know, he's using social media as a viable tool to reach out and teach people.